You okay, hun? Marnie, the other waitress, touches Tessa's shoulder. You look like you've seen a ghost. The coffee mug slips from Tessa Holt's fingers and shatters across the linoleum floor. On the television mounted above the diner's counter, a reporter's voice drones on about the evening news, but Tessa isn't hearing words anymore. She's staring at the photograph that fills the screen, a missing child alert, the kind that interrupts regular programming with its urgent red banner and desperate pleas for information. The girl in the photo is 8 years old. Dark hair that falls in waves past her shoulders, eyes the color of smoke and winter mornings, a heart-shaped face with delicate features that seem almost too refined, too elegant for a child. Tessa knows that face. She's seen it every single day for the past 6 years in the small frame she keeps on her nightstand. The one photograph she has left of Claire, her sister, taken 3 months before she died. But that's impossible, because Claire never had children. Claire died in a car accident when Tessa was 19, and Claire was 22, and there were no babies, no pregnancies, nothing but grief and hospital bills, and a funeral Tessa couldn't afford. Tessa can't answer. Her heart is hammering so hard she thinks it might crack her ribs. On the screen, the reporter continues. Sienna Blackwood, age 8, was last seen at her primary residence in Belle Meade. Her father, Adrian Blackwood, CEO of Blackwood Enterprises, is offering a substantial reward for any information leading to her safe return. The photograph changes to footage of a man emerging from a black car in front of what looks like a corporate building. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a suit that probably costs more than Tessa makes in 6 months. His face is all sharp angles and intensity, dark hair swept back, but it's his eyes that make Tessa's breath catch in her throat. Those same gray eyes. The exact shade of smoke in winter mornings. The exact eyes that stare back at her every time she looks in the mirror. I have to go. Tessa's voice sounds distant, underwater. She's already untying her apron, her fingers clumsy with the knots. What? Tess, your shift isn't over for another 4 hours. But Tessa is gone, pushing through the diner's glass door into the humid Nashville evening. Her beat-up Honda is parked in the back lot, and she fumbles with her keys, drops them, picks them up with shaking hands. Her phone is already out, pulling up the news article, searching for more information. Sienna Blackwood, daughter of Adrian Blackwood, one of the wealthiest men in Tennessee, disappeared from her home sometime between midnight and 6 a.m. last night. Security footage showed nothing. No signs of forced entry. Just an empty bedroom and a father reportedly beside himself with terror. Tessa's vision blurs as she stares at the photo again. She zooms in on the girl's face, looking for some detail that will make this make sense, some feature that will break the uncanny resemblance. But there's nothing. The child even has the same small birthmark near her left ear that Claire had. The same slightly crooked front tooth that Claire always said she'd fix one day but never did. Tessa's phone rings, making her jump so badly she nearly drops it again. Unknown number. She answers without thinking. Hello? Silence. Then, very quietly, a child's voice. You look like her. Like my mama. Tessa's blood turns to ice. Who is this? I saw you, on the internet. I searched for people who look like Mama, and I found your picture from the diner website. The girl's voice is trembling, scared but determined. Your last name is Holt. That was Mama's name before she married Daddy. Sienna? Tessa whispers. I'm not lost. I ran away. I had to find you. I had to know if... The girl's voice breaks. There are people who want to hurt Daddy. They took Mama, and now they want me. I heard them talking. The man with the wolf tattoo. He works for Daddy, but he's not good. He said I'm leverage. I didn't know what that meant, but it sounded bad. Tessa's heart is racing. This is insane. This is a prank, or a trap, or something worse. Where are you? Are you safe? I'm at the old library on Jefferson Street. The one that's closed down. I broke a window. Sienna sounds very small now, very young. I'm scared, but I couldn't go to Daddy because what if the bad man is there? What if he... Stay there. Tessa is already starting her car, tires squealing as she pulls out of the parking lot. "Stay hidden! I'm coming to get you." "You believe me?" "I don't know what I believe." Tessa's voice cracks. "But I'm coming anyway." The library is only 10 minutes away, an old Carnegie building that the city condemned 2 years ago and never got around to demolishing. Tessa parks half a block away and approaches on foot, scanning the darkening street for any sign of surveillance, of danger, of whatever the hell she's walking into. The broken window is around back, small and low to the ground. Tessa crouches and peers inside. "Sienna?" Movement in the shadows. Then the girl emerges, and Tessa's heart stops completely. It's like looking at a photograph of Claire as a child. The resemblance is so perfect, it's almost painful. But there's something else, too. Something in the way the girl moves, the way she holds herself. A kind of preternatural grace that seems too fluid, too elegant for an 8-year-old. "You came." Sienna's eyes fill with tears. "I wasn't sure you would." "Come on." Tessa reaches through the window. "We need to call your father." "He's probably losing his mind." "No!" Sienna scrambles backward. "Not yet, please. I need to know first. I need to understand." "Understand what?" "Why you look exactly like my mama. Why you have the same eyes as Daddy and me." Sienna's voice drops to a whisper. "Why I can hear your heartbeat from here, and it sounds scared, and why I can smell that you're telling the truth when you say you'll help me." Tessa goes very still. "What?" Sienna steps into the dim light filtering through the broken window, and her eyes catch the fading sunlight in a way that eyes shouldn't. Reflective. Almost glowing. "Mama used to say I was special, that Daddy was special, that we were different from other people." Sienna's hands twist together. "She made me promise never to show anyone what I could do. Made me wear contacts and pretend. But then she died, and Daddy got so sad, and everything got harder." "What can you do?" Tessa asks, though she's not sure she wants to know the answer. Sienna looks at her shoes. "I can hear things, smell things. I'm stronger than I should be. Sometimes when I get upset, I want to—" She stops. "Daddy says I have to be careful, that there are people who wouldn't understand, who would be afraid." Tessa thinks about vampire romance novels, the kind she reads late at night when she can't sleep. Thinks about all the stories of immortal creatures and impossible love and secrets that could destroy everything. Thinks about how ridiculous it is to even consider. Sienna looks up, and in the fading light her eyes flash silver. "Oh my God." Tessa sits down hard on the ground outside the window. "Mama was human, like you, but Daddy isn't. He's—" Sienna struggles with the word. "He says his family is old. Very old. And they're different. They need blood to survive, but they're not monsters. Daddy never hurts people. He has special blood that gets delivered, and he runs a company that helps people, and he's good. I promise he's good." Tessa's mind is reeling. "Claire was your mother. My sister, Claire." Sienna nods, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Daddy loved her so much. When she died, he almost—" She stops. He keeps her picture everywhere. In his office, in his bedroom, in his wallet. He talks to her sometimes when he thinks I'm asleep. He tells her about me, about what I learned that day, about how much I'm growing. He cries. Something in Tessa's chest cracks open. She remembers the funeral, how there had been an obscenely expensive casket delivered anonymously. How all of Claire's medical bills had been quietly paid off. How Tessa had wondered, in the depths of her grief, who could have cared enough to do that. "He didn't know about me." Tessa's voice is barely audible. "Claire and I were estranged. Our mother died when we were young, and we went into foster care and we got separated. We only reconnected a few months before she died. She told me about you." Sienna's voice is soft. "In the journal she kept for me, she wrote down stories about when you were little, about how you used to protect her from the mean kids at school, about how you'd split your lunch with her even when you were hungry, about how much she missed you. Can I... Tessa swallows hard. Can I see it? It's at home, in my room. Sienna wipes her eyes. Will you take me there? Will you help me talk to Daddy? He'll be so scared and angry, but if you're there, if he knows I found you... Tessa's phone buzzes. Another unknown number. She answers, her hand shaking. This is Adrian Blackwood. The voice is cold, controlled, but Tessa can hear the terror underneath. You answered a call from my daughter's phone approximately 17 minutes ago. I need to know where she is. Now. Tessa looks at Sienna, who nods. She's safe. She's with me. How does she even explain this? My name is Tessa Holt. I think I'm your daughter's aunt. Silence. Then, that's impossible. Claire had no family. She had me. We were separated in foster care. Tessa takes a breath. Your daughter called me because she saw my face and it looks like Claire's. She says there are people threatening her. A man with a wolf tattoo who works for you. Another silence. Longer this time. When Adrian speaks again, his voice has changed. It's darker, more dangerous. Where are you? The old Jefferson Street Library, but I'm not... Don't move. I'll be there in 5 minutes. He hangs up. Tessa looks at Sienna. He's coming. Are you going to stay? The girl's eyes are wide, frightened. Please stay. I don't want to be alone when I tell him about the bad man. I'll stay. Tessa doesn't know why she's making this promise. Doesn't know why she's trusting a child she just met, who claims to be part vampire, and the daughter of a sister who never mentioned a pregnancy, or a marriage, or anything about her life in the years they were apart. But she stays. 4 minutes later, a black SUV pulls up to the curb with enough speed to leave rubber on the asphalt. The man who emerges is the one from the news footage. But the television didn't capture the sheer presence of him. He moves like a predator, fast and fluid, and even from 20 feet away, Tessa can feel the danger rolling off him in waves. Then he sees Sienna, and everything about him changes. Baby girl. His voice breaks on the words. He drops to his knees as Sienna scrambles out of the window and runs to him. Oh God, baby girl. You're okay. You're safe. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry I scared you. Sienna is sobbing into his shoulder. But I had to. The man with the wolf tattoo. Adrian goes very still. What man? He works for you. I heard him talking on the phone in your office last week when I was supposed to be at piano practice, but I left my music book. He said I was leverage. He said once the treaty negotiations were done, they wouldn't need you anymore, and they could take me, and it would be easier that way. Sienna pulls back to look at her father. I got scared. I didn't know if I could trust anyone. So I thought, if I could find someone who was Mama's family, someone who didn't know about us or our world. Adrian's eyes lift to meet Tessa's, and the impact of his gaze is almost physical. She understands now why her sister might have fallen in love with this man. His eyes hold centuries of pain and power, and something dangerously close to barely restrained violence. You're Claire's sister. It's not a question. Yes. I didn't know she had a sister. We hadn't seen each other in 10 years when we reconnected. She died 6 months after that. Tessa keeps her voice steady. She never mentioned you, or a marriage, or a baby. Something flashes across Adrian's face. Grief, deep and still raw, even after 6 years. We weren't married. Not legally. In my world, there are other ceremonies, other bonds. Claire was my mate, the only one I'll ever have. When she died... He stops, jaw tight. I would have given anything to save her. Instead, all I could do was pay for her funeral and make sure her medical debts were cleared and raise our daughter alone. You never tried to find me. I didn't know you existed until this moment. Adrian's eyes narrow. If I had, believe me, I would have. Sienna deserves to know her family. All of it. Tessa wants to be angry at him for keeping Sienna from her, but she can see the truth in his face. He genuinely didn't know. The man with the wolf tattoo, Adrian says, turning back to his daughter. Can you describe him? Tall, dark hair. He wears a gray suit, and he always smells like pine trees. Sienna's voice is small. His name is Jackson. I heard you call him that. Adrian closes his eyes briefly, and Tessa sees his hands tighten on his daughter's shoulders. Jackson Reed, my head of security. You have to fire him, Daddy. You have to make him go away. I will. I promise. Adrian stands, lifting Sienna with him like she weighs nothing. He looks at Tessa. This isn't a conversation for a condemned building. Come with us, please. You deserve answers, and I owe you an explanation for why your sister is gone. Tessa should say no. Should run back to her car and her tiny apartment and her normal, boring life, serving coffee and eggs to truckers at a diner that smells like grease and lost dreams. Instead, she says, Okay. The Blackwood estate is the kind of place Tessa has only seen in movies. Iron gates that open automatically, a driveway that winds through perfectly manicured grounds, a house that's really a mansion with columns and balconies, and more windows than Tessa can count. Inside, it's elegant, but lived in. Family photos everywhere, Sienna as a baby, as a toddler, at various ages, and in every single one, a beautiful woman with dark hair and gray eyes and a smile that makes Tessa's heart ache. Claire, happy, loved. Nothing like the exhausted, struggling young woman Tessa had reconnected with all those years ago. She was sick when you found her again, wasn't she? Adrian asks quietly. He's settled Sienna on a couch in what he calls the family room, and now he's pouring himself something amber from a crystal decanter. He doesn't offer any to Tessa. Claire, how did you know? Because she told me she was going to try to find you. That was about 6 months before she died. She said she needed to make peace with her past before... He stops, drinks. I didn't know she was dying. She hid it from me. Used makeup and perfume and lies to cover the scent of the cancer eating her alive. By the time I figured it out, it was too late. My blood can heal injuries, can stop aging, but it can't cure disease. Not one that advanced. Tessa sits down hard. She was sick when we reconnected. She told me it was benign tumors, that she was managing it. She didn't want you to worry, didn't want you to watch her die. Adrian's voice is rough. She made me promise not to contact you after she was gone. Said you'd been through enough. That you deserved to live your life without being pulled into our world. But Sienna is part of your family whether we like it or not. Adrian looks at his daughter, who has fallen asleep on the couch, exhausted from fear and adrenaline. Claire left letters. For me. For Sienna. She wanted Sienna to know about you when she was old enough to understand. When she could make her own choice about whether to reach out. What changed? Jackson Reed, apparently. Adrian sets down his glass with enough force that Tessa is surprised it doesn't shatter. I need to make some calls. There's a guest room upstairs if you want to rest, or you can stay here with Sienna. Either way, you're not leaving until I've secured the house and dealt with the security leak. I have a shift tomorrow. Call in sick. It's not a request. Adrian is already pulling out his phone, his attention shifting to whatever power plays and vampire politics Tessa can't begin to understand. Please, I just got my daughter back. I'm not losing her again because I was too proud to ask for help. So Tessa stays. She sits on the couch next to her sleeping niece and watches Adrian pace the room, making calls in a voice that alternates between coldly professional and absolutely lethal. She hears him order a full security audit, hears him summon someone called Marcus, who is apparently his second in command, hears him use words like tribunal and blood oath and terminal sanction. Around midnight, Sienna wakes up. Is Daddy okay? He's handling it, Tessa says, though she's not entirely sure what it entails. He gets scary when someone threatens me. Sienna sits up, rubbing her eyes. Mama used to calm him down. She'd touch his face and whisper to him, and he'd get soft again. You miss her. Every day. Sienna looks at Tessa with those uncanny gray eyes. But I'm glad she found you before she died. She wrote about it in the journal, about how happy she was to see you again, even though she knew she didn't have much time. She said you were her hero when you were kids, that you were brave and fierce and you never let anyone hurt her. Tessa's eyes burn. I tried. She said you saved her, over and over, and that she was sorry she couldn't save you back. From the foster system, from being alone. Sienna reaches out and takes Tessa's hand. Her grip is surprisingly strong. But maybe we can save each other now, all of us. Adrian ends his call and walks over to them. In the soft lamplight, he looks younger, more human. Jackson Reed is in custody. My people picked him up 20 minutes ago. He's admitted to working with a rival faction, vampires who want to destabilize the current territory agreements. They thought kidnapping Sienna would force my hand in the negotiations. What will happen to him? Tessa asks. Nothing you need to worry about. Adrian's expression is unreadable. He broke sacred laws, betrayed his oath, endangered a child. The punishment for that in my world is swift and permanent. Tessa should probably be horrified. Instead, she just feels tired. And Sienna? Is she safe now? Safer than she's been in months, thanks to her own quick thinking and stubbornness. Adrian touches his daughter's hair with a gentleness that seems at odds with the deadly creature he showed himself to be on the phone. And thanks to you. She could have called anyone. The police, a friend's parent, my office. She chose to find you instead. She barely knows me. She knows your family. That matters. Especially in our world. Adrian meets Tessa's eyes. I know this is a lot. I know you have a life and a job and probably 1,000 reasons to walk away from this insanity. But I'm asking you not to. Sienna needs you. And frankly, I could use someone who isn't afraid to tell me when I'm being an overprotective idiot. Is that what Claire did? Among other things. A ghost of a smile crosses Adrian's face. She kept me human. Or as close to human as something like me can get. Without her, I've been... He stops. Sienna deserves better than a father who's drowning in grief and rage. She deserves to know joy again. Laughter. Family. Tessa looks at her niece. This impossible child who is half vampire and all courage. Looks at Adrian, this powerful, dangerous man who is completely undone by love for his daughter. Thinks about her tiny apartment and her dead-end job and the loneliness that's been her constant companion since Claire died. I work weekends, she says finally, and I can't move in or anything crazy like that. But I can come by, spend time with Sienna, maybe help with homework or whatever 8-year-olds need help with. Sienna's face lights up like sunrise. Really? Really, but you have to promise me something. Tessa squeezes the girl's hand. No more running away. If you're scared, you call me or your dad. We're family now. We protect each other. I promise. Adrian exhales, and Tessa realizes he'd been holding his breath. Thank you. I know it's not enough. But thank you. The next few weeks settle into a routine that feels both surreal and surprisingly natural. Tessa comes by the estate 3 or 4 times a week after her shifts. She helps Sienna with homework, listens to her practice piano, teaches her card games that Claire used to love. Slowly, carefully, she starts to learn what it means to be part of this strange new world. Adrian is there, always in the background, watching with those intense gray eyes that don't miss anything. Sometimes he joins them, teaching Sienna chess or history, or telling stories about his childhood in a time when Nashville was just a frontier settlement. He never directly mentions what he is, but Tessa sees the evidence everywhere. The way he moves without sound. The way his eyes track movement with predatory precision. The way Sienna sometimes forgets to hide her own supernatural nature around Tessa, showing off her speed or her strength with childish pride. She trusts you, Adrian says one evening. Sienna has fallen asleep on the couch between them, exhausted from a day at the zoo. She hasn't trusted anyone new since Claire died. She's easy to love, Tessa says softly. So was her mother. Adrian's voice is rough. I've been thinking about something Claire wrote in one of her letters. She said she wished she'd had more time with you. That she wished she could have seen you build a life, find happiness. She worried about leaving you alone. I'm not alone anymore. No, but you're still working yourself into exhaustion at that diner, still living in a place that isn't safe or comfortable. Adrian shifts, careful not to wake Sienna. I want to offer you something. A job, if you're interested. Tessa raises an eyebrow. Doing what? Blackwood Enterprises has a charitable foundation. We fund programs for foster children, help them transition to adulthood, provide educational opportunities. The director just retired. I need someone who understands that world, who lived it, who can make sure we're actually helping and not just throwing money at a problem. I don't have experience. You have the only experience that matters. You survived a system that fails more children than it saves. You know what they need because you needed it once. Adrian's eyes meet hers. The salary is substantial. Enough to quit the diner, move somewhere better, build the life Claire wanted for you, and you'd be close to Sienna. Close to family. Tessa's heart is pounding. Why are you doing this? Because Claire loved you. Because Sienna needs you. Because Adrian stops, jaw tight. Because I've been so focused on protecting my daughter from physical threats that I forgot she also needs emotional ones. She needs family. She needs someone who knew her mother, who can tell her stories and share memories. She needs you. And what do you need? Tessa asks before she can stop herself. Adrian looks at her for a long moment. I need to believe that the people I love don't always die, that sometimes I get to keep them. Even if it's just, he gestures vaguely, this, dinner, homework help, someone to share the burden of making sure one stubborn 8-year-old eats her vegetables. Tessa laughs, surprising herself. She got that from Claire, your daughter's determination. She got Claire's heart, her kindness, her ability to see the good in people. Adrian's voice softens. She got my eyes and my need for blood and my temper when someone threatens what's mine. It's a strange combination. It's perfect, Tessa says. She's perfect. She is, thanks to her mother. Adrian reaches over Sienna to touch Tessa's hand briefly. Say yes. To the job. To being part of this family. To staying. Tessa thinks about the life she's been living. The endless shifts, the exhaustion, the loneliness. Thinks about Claire's last words to her. Don't give up, Tess. Don't let the hard stuff win. Promise me you'll find something worth staying for. She'd made that promise, and now, impossibly, she's found it. Yes, she says. I'll stay. 3 months later, Tessa walks into her new office at the Blackwood Foundation headquarters and finds a photograph on her desk. It's old, slightly faded. Tessa and Claire as children, arms around each other, grinning at the camera. She has no idea where Adrian found it, what archive he had to search, or what strings he had to pull. But there it is, proof that once, before everything went wrong, 2 sisters loved each other and protected each other and survived together. Tessa picks up the frame and traces Claire's face with one finger. I found them, she whispers. I found your daughter and your whatever Adrian was to you, and I'm going to take care of them. I promise. Her phone buzzes, a text from Adrian. Sienna has a school concert tonight. She made me promise you'd be there. Front row, 7 p.m., don't be late. Tessa smiles and types back. Wouldn't miss it, because this is what family means. Showing up, being there, keeping promises to the people you love, even when, especially when, they're gone. And maybe, just maybe, finding a way to build something new from the broken pieces of the past. The concert is in the school auditorium, which is packed with parents and siblings, and the kind of cheerful chaos that comes with watching 3rd graders attempt Beethoven. Tessa spots Adrian immediately. He's the one sitting perfectly still in the front row, radiating enough protective intensity that the parents on either side of him have unconsciously shifted away. Tessa slides into the seat he's saved for her. You're scaring the other parents. They'll survive. But Adrian's expression softens when Sienna walks onto the stage with her violin. She's wearing a black dress and her hair is pulled back, and she looks so much like Claire that Tessa's breath catches. The performance is, well, it's third-grade orchestra. It's enthusiastic and slightly off-key and occasionally chaotic. But Sienna plays like it's Carnegie Hall, her face serious and focused, and when it's over, Adrian stands and claps so loudly that several parents turn to stare. "Daddy, you're embarrassing," Sienna says afterward, but she's glowing with pride. "I'm proud," Adrian corrects. "There's a difference." They go to dinner at a small Italian place that Sienna loves, and Tessa watches her niece charm the waitstaff and argue with her father about dessert orders, and be gloriously, perfectly normal, except for the moments when her eyes flash silver in the candlelight, or she accidentally bends her fork with 2 strong fingers. "This is nice," Adrian says quietly while Sienna is in the bathroom, having someone to share this with. The normal moments. "It is nice," Tessa agrees, then carefully. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Do you ever think about—" She stops, not sure how to phrase it. "Moving on? Dating? Finding someone else?" Adrian's expression closes off. "No. Claire wouldn't want you to be alone forever. Claire was my mate. In my world, that's—" He struggles for words. "It's absolute. Final. There will never be anyone else. Can't be anyone else." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. I got 28 years with her. Some of my kind live centuries and never find what I had." Adrian's eyes are distant. "I still feel her sometimes. When I'm with Sienna, when I'm doing something Claire would have loved. It's like she's still here, watching over us." "She is," Tessa says, "in Sienna. In the way you love her. In the fact that you found me even though Claire thought she was protecting me by keeping us separate." Adrian looks at her, and something in his expression shifts. She would have liked this. You being here, being part of Sienna's life. I'm trying to be worthy of it. You already are. Adrian reaches across the table and squeezes her hand briefly. You're exactly what she hoped you'd be. Strong, brave, loyal, family. Sienna returns, and the moment breaks, but Tessa carries the warmth of it through the rest of the evening. 6 months after that first meeting, Tessa moves into the guest house on the Blackwood estate. It's not a big deal, she tells herself. It just makes sense. She's working at the foundation, spending time with Sienna almost every day anyway. Having her own space on the property is practical. But it feels like coming home in a way nothing has since she aged out of foster care. She decorates the small house with photos. Claire as a child, Sienna at various ages, even a few candid shots of Adrian that Sienna has taken when he wasn't paying attention. She plants flowers in the small garden. She learns the rhythms of the estate, when the staff comes and goes, when Adrian holds his business meetings, when Sienna practices piano. And slowly, carefully, she becomes part of something she never thought she'd have again. One night she wakes to a knock on her door. It's Adrian, and even in the darkness, she can see that something is wrong. There's been an incident, he says without preamble. Nothing dangerous, but Sienna is asking for you. Tessa doesn't bother with shoes. She runs to the main house in bare feet, her heart pounding, and finds Sienna in her bedroom curled up in a ball. Baby girl, what's wrong? Tessa drops to her knees beside the bed. I had a dream about Mama. Sienna's voice is thick with tears. She was here, and she was happy. And then she was gone, and I couldn't hold on to her. Tessa gathers her niece into her arms, remembering all the nights she woke up crying for her own mother, for Claire, for all the people she'd lost. I know, sweetheart. I know it hurts. Does it ever stop hurting? No, but it gets different. The hurt becomes part of you, but so do the good memories. The love. Tessa rocks her gently. Your mama loved you so much, Sienna. She would be so proud of how brave you are, how kind. She loved you, too. She wrote about it. Sienna pulls back to look at Tessa. In the journal. She said you were the best part of her childhood, the only part worth remembering. Tessa's eyes burn. Can I read it sometime? The journal? Daddy has it. He keeps it safe for me until I'm older. Sienna wipes her eyes. But maybe. Maybe he'd let you read it now, since you're family. Adrian appears in the doorway, and his expression is unreadable. I'll get it. He returns a few minutes later with a leather-bound book that's clearly been handled with reverence. He hands it to Tessa without a word. The first entry is dated 7 years ago. Today, I met someone impossible. Someone beautiful and dangerous and completely wrong for me. I'm going to marry him anyway. Tessa reads through tears. Reads about Claire's joy when she discovered she was pregnant, her terror that something would go wrong, her fierce determination to be the mother she never had. Reads about Adrian and how much Claire loved him, how safe he made her feel, how he was nothing like the monsters in stories and everything like the heroes. Reads near the end. I saw Tessa again today. She's struggling, I can tell, but she's too proud to ask for help. She's always been like that. My brave little sister. I wish I could tell her about Adrian, about Sienna, about the life I've built. But I'm running out of time, and I can't burden her with my death. She's already lost too much. I need her to remember me happy, not dying. I need her to be free. The last entry is devastating in its simplicity. Adrian found out. He's furious that I hid my illness, heartbroken that he can't fix it. But I'm at peace. I got to love him. I got to give him Sienna. I got to see Tessa one last time. Not everyone gets that much. I'm one of the lucky ones. Tessa closes the book with shaking hands. She was wrong. About what? Adrian asks softly. About not telling me. About thinking she was protecting me by keeping secrets. Tessa looks up at him. I would have wanted to know. Would have wanted to be there. Would have wanted to meet you and Sienna and be part of her life, even if it was only for a few months. She was scared, Adrian says, of burdening you, of putting you in danger by exposing you to my world, of... He stops. She loved you so much that she thought leaving you alone was the kindest thing she could do. She was wrong, Tessa repeats, but I forgive her. Because I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. Sienna, who has been listening quietly, reaches for both of them. Group hug. Mama would want a group hug. So they do, the three of them holding each other in the soft darkness of Sienna's room, bound together by love and loss and the determined ghost of a woman who wanted her family to survive her death. 2 years later, Tessa stands in front of the Blackwood Foundation's board of directors and presents their newest initiative, a program that will provide full-ride scholarships to aging-out foster youth, complete with mentorship and housing support. The board approves it unanimously. After the meeting, Adrian finds her in her office. Claire would be proud of you. I hope so. Tessa looks at the photograph on her desk, the one of her and Claire as children, but now it's surrounded by newer photos. Sienna at her 10th birthday party, Sienna and Tessa at the zoo, the three of them at Christmas, Sienna between them, grinning at the camera. I know so. Adrian sits on the edge of her desk. You've built something remarkable here, changed lives, given kids the chances you never had. We've built it. You funded it, supported it, believed in it. Tessa smiles. We make a good team. We do. Adrian's expression turns serious. There's something I need to tell you. About the foundation. About my world. There are people, other vampires, old families, who aren't happy about what we're doing. They think helping humans is beneath us, that we should stay separate, hidden. Are we in danger? No, I wouldn't allow it. But there will be. Pressure. Social pressure. Political pressure. They'll try to undermine what we've built. Adrian meets her eyes. I need to know you're prepared for that. That you understand what you've signed up for by being part of my life. Sienna's life. Tessa thinks about the scared, lonely girl she used to be. Thinks about Claire and all the ways she was never fully honest about her life. Thinks about Sienna, who is growing up strong and loved and safe because people chose to fight for her. I'm not going anywhere, she says firmly. Let them try to stop us. We'll fight them together. Adrian's smile is fierce and proud. Claire chose well when she chose you for a sister. And you chose well when you chose her. Tessa touches his hand briefly. We're family, Adrian. All of us. And family doesn't run when things get hard. That night, there's a celebration at the estate. Sienna's school friends are there, carefully vetted by Adrian's security. There's music and cake and the kind of joyful chaos that comes with 10-year-olds hopped up on sugar. Tessa watches Sienna laugh with her friends, watches Adrian hover nearby with the intensity of a man who will never again take his daughter's safety for granted, watches the sunset paint the sky in shades of gold and pink, and she thinks, this is what Claire wanted. This is what she fought for in those last months, a future where her daughter was loved and protected and surrounded by family. Thank you, Tessa whispers to the sky, to the ghost of her sister. Thank you for bringing me here, for giving me this. Later, after the party winds down and Sienna's friends have gone home, the three of them sit in the garden. Sienna is nestled between Tessa and Adrian, sleepy and content. Tell me a story about Mama, she says, like she does almost every night. One I haven't heard before. Tessa thinks back, sorting through memories. Okay. When your mom and I were really little, maybe 5 and 8, we were at this group home that had a big dog, a German shepherd named Max. All the other kids were scared of him, but Claire loved him. She'd sneak him food from dinner, let him sleep in her bed. Mama loved animals, Sienna says. She did, but one day, one of the older boys at the home was being mean to Max, hitting him, pulling his tail. And Claire, Tessa laughs at the memory. Claire walked right up to that boy, who was twice her size, and kicked him in the shin as hard as she could. Then she told him if he ever touched Max again, she'd make him sorry. What happened? Sienna asks, eyes wide. The boy complained to the house parents, but Max had seen what he was doing and came to Claire's defense, not aggressively, just stood between her and the boy, and wouldn't move. The house parents believed Claire. The boy got in trouble, and Max slept in Claire's bed every single night after that. Mama was brave, Sienna says. The bravest, Tessa agrees. She always stood up for people who couldn't stand up for themselves. Always protected the vulnerable. It's one of the things I loved most about her. She passed that down to you, Adrian says to his daughter. That fierce heart, that instinct to protect. And she passed down her stubbornness, Tessa adds, and her terrible singing voice. Hey, Sienna protests, laughing, I'm not that bad. You're exactly that bad, Adrian says, but he's grinning. But we love you anyway. They sit there until the stars come out, trading stories and memories, building a bridge between past and present, grief and joy, loss and love. And somewhere, Tessa thinks, Claire is watching over them and smiling. Because this is what she wanted. This is what she died believing in. A family. Whole and healed and together. Against all odds, against all reason, against everything that should have kept them apart. They found each other. And they're never letting go. The crisis comes on a Tuesday afternoon when Sienna is 12 years old. Tessa is in her office at the foundation, reviewing scholarship applications when her phone rings. Adrian's name flashes on the screen, and something in the way it buzzes. Urgent, insistent, makes her stomach drop. What's wrong? Sienna's school called. She's missing. Left during lunch and never came back to class. Adrian's voice is controlled, but Tessa can hear the terror underneath. Security footage shows her getting into a silver sedan, willingly. She looked like she knew the driver. Tessa is already grabbing her keys, her purse. I'm coming to you. Don't do anything until I get there. Tessa, if someone has taken her, then we'll find her together. 20 minutes. Wait for me. She makes it in 15, breaking every speed limit. Adrian is in his study, surrounded by monitors showing security feeds, traffic cameras, every technological resource his considerable wealth can buy. His eyes are wild when he looks up at her, more vampire than man. I can't find her. I can't. His voice breaks. Not again. I can't lose another person I love. Tessa grabs his face between her hands, forcing him to look at her. We won't. Sienna is smart and strong, and she's survived worse than this. But I need you to think, not rage. Who would she go with willingly? Who does she trust? Adrian takes a breath, and Tessa watches him pull himself back from the edge. Her piano teacher, her friend Madison's mother, a few teachers at school. That's it. She knows not to trust strangers, knows how dangerous. Tessa's phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number with a photo attached. The photo shows Sienna sitting in what looks like a coffee shop, very much alive and unharmed, next to a woman with graying hair and kind eyes. The text reads, "She's safe. She came to me. We need to talk. All of us." The address is 2847 Maple Street. Come alone, both of you. No security, no weapons, just family. Tessa shows Adrian the phone. Do you recognize her? He stares at the photo, and something shifts in his expression. Shock. Recognition. Something that might be hope. That's impossible. She's been dead for 40 years. Who? My sister, Evangeline. Adrian's voice is barely a whisper. She died in 1985. I buried her myself after a hunter attack. I mourned her for decades. She can't be... But what if she is? Tessa is already heading for the door. What if she survived somehow and Sienna found out and went to meet her? Then it's a trap, someone using her face to lure us in. Or it's a miracle. Tessa turns back to him. Either way, our girl is in that coffee shop, and we're going to get her. Together. The drive to Maple Street feels endless. Adrian is silent beside her, radiating tension and barely suppressed violence. Tessa keeps one hand on the wheel and one hand on his arm, grounding him, reminding him that they're partners in this. The coffee shop is small and warm. The kind of local place with mismatched furniture and art on the walls. Tessa spots Sienna immediately, sitting at a corner table with the woman from the photo. Her niece looks up when they enter, and her face is alight with something Tessa has never seen before. Pure, uncomplicated joy. Daddy, Aunt Tessa, you have to meet her. You have to. Sienna is bouncing in her seat. This is Evangeline. She's Daddy's sister. She's my aunt. Real, actual blood family, and she found me and... Adrian has gone absolutely still. He's staring at the woman like he's seeing a ghost. And maybe he is. She stands slowly, and Tessa can see the resemblance now. The same sharp features, the same gray eyes, the same supernatural grace. Hello, brother. Evangeline's voice is soft, careful. I know you have questions. I know you're angry. But please, let me explain before you decide whether to hate me for letting you think I was dead. How? Adrian's voice is barely controlled. I saw your body. I buried you. You buried a body that looked like me. A substitute created by a witch who owed me a favor. Evangeline glances at Sienna, then back at Adrian. I had to disappear. The hunters who attacked me weren't random. They were hired by members of our own council. Vampires who thought I was too sympathetic to humans, too willing to break the old laws that keep us separate. They wanted me dead, and they had the resources to make it permanent. So, you let me think you were gone. Let me grieve for 40 years. Adrian's hands are clenched at his sides. Let me raise my daughter without ever knowing she had another aunt. I didn't know about her until 3 months ago. Evangeline's eyes shine with tears. I've been living quietly in Europe, staying hidden, staying safe. But then I saw the news coverage, the missing child incident 2 years ago, the interviews about your foundation work. I saw Sienna's face, and I knew she was yours. So I came back. I've been watching, making sure the council members who tried to kill me are no longer a threat, making sure it was safe to reveal myself. And you contacted Sienna directly? Tessa asks, her voice sharper than she intends. A 12-year-old girl? Without telling her father? Evangeline has the grace to look ashamed. I left her messages. Letters, actually. Old-fashioned paper letters delivered to places I knew she'd find them. Her piano teacher's studio, her favorite bookstore. I told her who I was, gave her proof, let her decide whether to respond. She's the one who suggested we meet today. She wanted to be sure I was real before telling Adrian. Sienna reaches for her father's hand. I'm sorry, Daddy. I know I should have told you, but I was scared you wouldn't believe her, or that you'd be so angry she wouldn't get to stay. Her voice drops to a whisper. We've lost so many people. Mama and Aunt Tessa's parents and all the family we never got to meet. I wanted to keep this one. I wanted to have more family, not less. Something in Adrian's expression cracks. He drops to his knees in front of his daughter, pulling her into his arms. Baby girl, you can't make decisions like this alone. It's not safe. What if it had been a trap? What if someone was using Evangeline's name to hurt you? But it wasn't. She's real. She's family. Sienna looks at her aunt, then at Evangeline. And she wants to stay. She wants to be part of our lives. Don't you? Evangeline nods, tears spilling down her cheeks. If you'll have me. I know I have no right to ask. I know I caused you pain, Adrian. But I'm here now, and I'm not in danger anymore, and I would very much like to know my niece. To be the sister I should have been all these years. Adrian looks at Tessa, and she can see the question in his eyes. She moves closer, putting her hand on his shoulder. Family is complicated, she says quietly. Trust me, I know. Claire and I lost years because of circumstances we couldn't control. Don't make the same mistake. Don't let pride or hurt keep you from having your sister back. She let me think she was dead. She survived. She did what she had to do to stay alive. Tessa squeezes his shoulder. And now she's here. That's what matters. Adrian closes his eyes, and Tessa watches decades of grief and loneliness war with hope and the desperate need to believe in second chances. When he opens them again, he's looking at Evangeline. Tell me everything. Every detail of how you survived, where you've been, what you've been doing. And if I find out you're lying, if I discover this is some elaborate scheme to hurt my daughter, then you'll end me yourself. I know. Evangeline sits back down, and her smile is sad and understanding. I wouldn't expect anything less. They talk for hours. The coffee shop owner, clearly sensing something important is happening, quietly locks the door and turns the sign to closed, giving them privacy. Evangeline tells them about the witch who helped her fake her death, about the years she spent in hiding, about the careful work she did to eliminate the threat against her. She talks about the loneliness of watching Adrian from afar, of seeing him fall in love with Claire, of witnessing his grief when she died. I wanted to come back then, Evangeline says. When Claire passed, I knew you were drowning and I wanted to help, but it still wasn't safe. The last council member who wanted me dead didn't die until 8 months ago. I've spent the time since then making sure there are no other threats, no other conspiracies. I wouldn't risk coming back, wouldn't risk being near Sienna, if I thought it would put her in danger. The council will know you're alive now, Adrian says. Word spreads fast in our world. Let them know. I'm done hiding. Evangeline's eyes flash silver. I'm done letting fear dictate my life. I want to know my family. I want to teach Sienna about her heritage, about the parts of our history that are beautiful and worth preserving. I want to be here for birthdays and holidays and boring Tuesday afternoons. I want what I should have had all along. Sienna, who has been quiet for a while, suddenly speaks up. Did you know my mama? Before she died? Evangeline shakes her head. No, sweetheart. I was already in hiding by then. But I've read everything I could find about her. She sounded remarkable. She was. Sienna looks at Tessa. She was brave and kind, and she loved hard. Aunt Tessa tells me stories about her. Maybe you could tell me stories about Daddy when he was young. Oh, I have so many stories. Evangeline grins, and for the first time Tessa sees genuine happiness in her face. Did you know your father once tried to befriend a bear? He was 60 years old and convinced he could communicate with animals if he just concentrated hard enough. That's enough, Adrian says. but there's no heat in it. He's looking at his sister with something that might be forgiveness, might be the first fragile threads of trust being rebuilt. They leave the coffee shop as the sun sets, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold. Evangeline follows them back to the estate in her own car, and Tessa watches Adrian's face in the rearview mirror. He looks younger somehow, less burdened. Like a weight he's been carrying for 40 years has finally been lifted. "Are you okay?" she asks quietly. "I don't know. Ask me in a few days." Adrian meets her eyes. "But thank you for being here, for stopping me from doing something stupid like refusing to listen to her. That's what family does. We stop each other from making terrible decisions. Is that in the family handbook?" Chapter 3, right after the section on showing up when it matters. Tessa smiles. "We're writing our own handbook as we go. It's messy and complicated and probably full of mistakes, but it's ours." That night, the four of them have dinner together. It's awkward at first. 40 years of separation can't be healed in an afternoon. But Sienna, with the unconscious genius of children, asks Evangeline about everything. What was Daddy like as a young vampire? What was the world like 100 years ago? Do all vampires have the same abilities, or are some different? Evangeline answers each question with patience and humor, and slowly the tension eases. Adrian starts to share his own stories, correcting his sister's more outrageous claims, adding details she's forgotten. Tessa sits back and watches, marveling at how family can be broken and rebuilt, how love can survive decades of silence and grief. After dinner, Evangeline pulls Tessa aside. "Thank you for taking care of them, for being there when I couldn't be. I didn't do it for you. I did it for Sienna and for Claire's memory." Tessa keeps her voice level. "But I'm glad you're here now. Sienna deserves to have as much family as possible. She's lucky to have you. Adrian is too, even if he doesn't quite realize it yet." Evangeline's smile is knowing. "My brother has been alone for so long, isolated by grief and responsibility. You've given him something precious. Connection, partnership, someone who sees him as more than just a vampire, or a CEO or a father. Someone who sees him as Adrian." Tessa feels heat rise in her cheeks. "It's not like that. We're family, partners in raising Sienna." "Of course," Evangeline's tone suggests she doesn't believe that for a second. "Whatever you say." Later, after Evangeline has left for the hotel where she's staying, after Sienna has gone to bed exhausted and happy, Tessa finds Adrian in the garden. He's sitting on the stone bench where Claire's memorial plaque is mounted, staring at the flowers that bloom year-round thanks to careful tending. "Claire would have loved today," he says without turning around. She always believed in second chances, in forgiveness, in family healing itself. Tessa sits beside him. "Are you really okay with Evangeline being back?" "I don't know yet, but I want to be, for Sienna and for myself." Adrian looks at her, and his eyes are soft in the moonlight. "I've been thinking about what you said, about not letting pride or hurt keep me from having my sister back. You were right. You usually are. It's a gift. It's annoying." But Adrian is smiling. "Thank you, Tessa. For everything. For being here. For helping raise my daughter. For giving me a reason to believe in family again. I don't say it enough, but you've become..." He stops, searching for words. "Essential. To both of us." Tessa's heart is pounding. "You've become essential to me, too. This place, this life, you and Sienna, it's everything I never knew I needed." They sit in comfortable silence, shoulders touching, looking at Claire's memorial under the stars. And Tessa thinks about how life can surprise you, how family can be built from broken pieces, how love comes in so many different forms. 3 months later, the Blackwood Foundation hosts its annual gala. Tessa stands at the podium in a dress that Adrian insisted on buying, looking out at hundreds of donors and supporters. She talks about the kids they've helped, the lives they've changed, the families they've supported. She tells the story of 2 sisters separated by foster care and loss, and how they found their way back to each other before it was too late. "Family isn't just about blood," she says. "It's about showing up. It's about choosing to love even when it's hard. It's about building something beautiful from the broken pieces of the past. The audience applauds, but Tessa is only looking at 3 people in the front row. Sienna, who is beaming with pride, Evangeline, who is dabbing at her eyes with a tissue, and Adrian, who is watching Tessa like she's the most remarkable thing he's ever seen. After the speeches, after the dinner, after the dancing, and the networking, and the endless photographs, they escape to the garden. All 4 of them, plus a handful of Sienna's carefully selected friends, who have proven they can keep secrets about supernatural families. "This is perfect," Sienna says, twirling in her formal dress. "Everyone I love in one place." "Everyone?" Evangeline raises an eyebrow. "What about your friend Madison?" "Well, everyone important," Sienna grins. "You know what I mean." "We do," Adrian says, pulling his daughter close. "We absolutely do." Tessa watches them, her family, impossible and perfect in hers, and thinks about Claire. About how her sister spent her final months making sure everyone she loved would be taken care of, would find each other, would survive her death. "You did it, Claire," Tessa whispers to the stars. "We found each other. We built something beautiful. We survived, and more than that, we're thriving." A breeze stirs the garden, warm and gentle, and Tessa likes to think it's her sister's way of saying she knows, she approves, she's proud. "What are you thinking about?" Adrian asks, moving to stand beside her. "Family, second chances. How lucky we are." "We are lucky." Adrian's hand finds hers, warm and solid and real. "Claire gave us that. She brought us together even after she was gone. She was always good at that, taking care of people." Tessa leans into Adrian's shoulder, allowing herself this moment of closeness, of trust. "I think she'd be happy with how things turned out." "I know she would." Adrian squeezes her hand. "Because we're happy. All of us. And that's all she ever wanted." Sienna runs over, dragging Evangeline behind her. "Come on, we're taking a family photo. All of us together." They gather in front of Claire's memorial, and someone, Tessa thinks it might be Evangeline, sets up a camera on a timer. They arrange themselves carefully. Adrian and Tessa in the center, Sienna between them, Evangeline beside her brother. A family bound by loss and love and the determined ghost of a woman who refused to let death be the end of her story. The camera flashes, capturing the moment, capturing 4 people who found each other against impossible odds, who chose love over fear, forgiveness over pride, connection over isolation, who learned that family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, holding on, and building something worth keeping. And as they stand there in the garden, under the stars, surrounded by the memory of the woman who made it all possible, Tessa knows with absolute certainty that this is exactly where she's supposed to be. Home. Finally, impossibly, wonderfully home. With a family who chose her just as fiercely as she chose them, and a future that stretches ahead, full of possibility and promise, and the kind of love that survives anything. Even death. Even decades of silence. Even the broken pieces of a past that tried so hard to keep them apart. They survived. They found each other. They built something beautiful. And that, Tessa thinks as Sienna hugs her tight and Adrian's hand rests warm on her shoulder and Evangeline smiles with tears in her eyes, is the only ending that matters.